I did not expect to see this early in the year, this kind of news. We had heard some rumors for a while that NBC Sports Network was going to go away. I mean, it was pretty much the worst kept secret in media at the time, but there wasn't really a timetable for this. Well, we just found out today that NBC Sports Network will be shutting down by the end of 2021. Now, according to Adam Stern, NASCAR will be among the properties that NBC Sports moves to the USA Network for some events as a result of the shutting down of NBCSN. So it's pretty unclear what this means long term, but here is something that is really important to know. In NASCAR's contract with NBC, there is a part of it, according to Davey Siegel, that says that NASCAR cannot be put behind a paywall for their races, which means we're gonna have them on TV. So that's some good news right there. It kind of sucks that we're gonna have to look for a new channel, and a lot of casual fans will have to look for new channels, so there might be some short-term losses, but if this is what it ends up being for the rest of the contract, it's not that bad. It'd be like what NBC did with TNT in the 01 to 06 contract. Now, another thing that I want people to know is that USA Network is in 91 million households across the United States. Compared to NBC Sports Network, they have 80 million households that they are in throughout the US. So that's a 14% gain in possible viewers. And if you want to compare to some other channels, FS1 is in 83.3 million homes across the country, and ESPN is in 86 million homes. So NASCAR is basically getting the best possible deal they could out of this. It's not preferable. We would want it to stay pretty consistent for fans' sake, but if it's going to change, this is a good change. Hopefully fans will sort of carry over. I think this brings up a bigger question overall. With NASCAR's TV deal, they signed this back in 2013. That was almost a decade ago that they signed a contract that is going to last through the middle of this decade. And it kind of brings a question up. Is NASCAR going to have to start negotiating contracts differently? You look at the world in 2012 and 13 when this contract was being negotiated and signed compared to today. The internet was not nearly as big of a player in media as it is today. YouTube, for instance, wasn't as big. TV was still king. There were people who were talking about the fact that online media may take over from TV in the coming decade, but it was seen as crazy talk by a lot of people. A lot of people were like, yeah, no way. TV is always going to be number one. Now, TV is going the way of the dinosaur. It is new radio, in my opinion. And you look at this, for younger people, we don't care about TV for the most part. I mean, most people I know are going through different subscription services. They're going through Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube TV. All of these are better, more or less, for young people than TV would be. And that's something that needs to be addressed in the new negotiations. In my opinion, with this, because not only is the live content being moved, but a lot of the racing content in general, coverage, is either going to go behind paywalls, is either going to be on less viewed mediums, or it's just going to go away completely, which means racing content is going to be at a premium to find. And I think that it's going to lead to an online boom for NASCAR and racing in general. I look at this and I think that those who give stuff out for a relatively cheap or free price when it comes to racing content are going to be the big victors here. People like me, people like other YouTubers. Viewers probably are going to come to us to look for different news because there's just nowhere else to look. That's the vacuum that's going to be left behind with this. Now, there is some other stuff too. The thing I have a question about is what's going to happen to qualifying and practice. Is that covered in the paywall clause? That's something I think that needs to be addressed, needs to be clarified. But in my opinion, with this contract, I think that renegotiations should be put in order because NASCAR was expecting to be on NBCSN. That was the agreed terms. I don't understand why NASCAR can't ask for an extra NBC race or two. In my opinion, at least. Maybe there's something I don't know. And again, I am not an expert in this in any way. I want to leave that disclaimer right now. But I think it's something that needs to be explored if the opportunity is there. It can't hurt the ratings. Now, with this, you have to look towards the future too. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the present, but there's a lot of stuff in the future for NASCAR that will have to be looked at because of what's just happened. In my opinion, the first one, looking at long-term deals. 10, 12-year deals, I think, are going to be outdated soon. I think that in order to adapt with an ever-changing society, you need to be ever-changing with where you were broadcasted at. This isn't 2007. This isn't 2013. This isn't 2000. That is a bygone era in media. Because of COVID, a lot of stuff is going to be ending up more on the internet. Companies and corporations have found new ways to cut corners and save money and still put forward a good broadcast for the most part. I don't think they're going to change that just because people are let back to the tracks at some point, just because things are being rolled back. They're going to save money after the fact. They want to find a profit. They want a profit. That is their main goal in this. As good as their coverage may be, good coverage leads into the main goal of money. All right, so we have to understand that. Now, looking forward, I think NASCAR is in a little bit of a tight squeeze here. Fox Sports has shown a continuing disinterest in racing and neglect of their coverage. The people on the coverage, Mike Joy, Jeff Gordon, Jamie Little, Matt Yoakum, all of them, I think they're doing a bomb-ass job for what they're given with. They could improve in certain areas, but for the most part, they are doing a very good job. But Fox as a company has been cutting back a lot, and they've been rolling back on a lot too. I don't know if they come back after 2024. There's rumors swirling all over the place, and one of them is that Fox doesn't come back. That would be alien to someone like me who has never viewed a NASCAR season without Fox Sports, but it could happen. You look at ABC and ESPN now. NASCAR fans don't want them back. They treated NASCAR like utter garbage from 2007 to 2013. Not the on-air personalities for the most part. They gave it their all. I don't blame the on-air personalities for the most part for any of the problems these networks have. It is all the front offices, in my opinion. And ABC and ESPN, they did not treat NASCAR good at all. They cut races off in prime time. They cut races off in the playoffs, in the chase. They treated it like garbage. They made fun of it as a dumb hick redneck sport on SportsCenter and other highly viewed shows. So there's no reason that NASCAR fans would want them back. And ESPN and ABC are really desperate right now. They are. Their subscription rates are tanking right now. Like I said, 86 million homes are in. They were in a hell of a lot more before the end of NASCAR's last contract with them. But they're not the powerhouse they used to be. They might be alluring, but they're not a big ratings draw. They've gotten very political in the last couple of years. They've gotten very divisive. They've gotten very opinionated. And a lot of times fans just want to watch sports. And they're not bringing that to the table for the most part. Their coverage has been awful recently. So I honestly don't see them as a viable option like I would maybe 2-3 years ago. CBS does look a bit appealing. It has some upside to it. They have SRX coming, and they look really interested in racing. The downside for TV side of it is CBS Sports Network is only in 61 million homes. That is about 3/4 of what Fox Sports 1 is in. That's about 1/4 of what we'd be getting now. That is around 2/3 of what USA Network would get. So then you have to look at NBC. NBC is an entity that I think could re-sign. I think it would be smart to re-sign with them just to have stability, but you would have to address the USA Network problem. And the problem there is, while it's viewed in more homes, it is less known. This is the network that is most known for Law and Order reruns and WWE. Now, granted, there is some crossover appeal there, but at the same time, if you're looking for the casual sports fan, people that are my age, people that are younger, the coming up generation, they don't care about USA Network. They don't care about TV. I mean, studies have shown 37% of people between 18 and 34 in the United States binge watch YouTube every day. That's just true. That's facts. That is where we're heading. You look at it, 119.9 million households in the US watch TV. But this isn't a US contract, I think, that we need to be looking at long term. The world overall is becoming more and more of a global show. And that's where you got to look right now. How can you get your brand to be a worldwide phenomenon? And then you look at YouTube. 1.3 billion people watch YouTube every year. And that number is growing. And that's only going to grow for streaming services. You look what the NFL has done, for instance, getting games streamed on Amazon now. They talked to Nickelodeon. Thinking outside of the box right now is what NASCAR needs to do. And they've done it with their schedule. It seems like they're doing it with basically everything, for better or worse. Why not TV contracts? Well, let's not even call them TV contracts. Why not broadcasting contracts? We need to have some kind of sustainable contract online for streaming constantly. Make it available to the average person that is younger. You do a YouTube contract where you sign on with them and, I don't know, maybe run some ads during the races and stuff. I think that'd be a perfect opportunity right there. NASCAR has the opportunity to take the future and negotiate for it. It's just a matter of if they have the sheer willpower to do it. But overall, for now, USA Network is going to be where a majority of the cable NASCAR races are going to go to, if not all of them. I wouldn't be surprised if pretty much every Xfinity race goes on there at the second half of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if every Cup race goes on there. I also wouldn't be surprised if a couple more Cup races end up on main NBC while the transition is going on. But overall, there's just going to be a lot of changes soon. The post-COVID world is going to be an erratic and wild one, and we just need to be ready to adapt. And I think NASCAR needs to be ready to adapt too. Whether they will or not, we just got to wait and see. But for now, I've given my piece on it. I've told you what's happened. I've told you my opinion. I want to know what you think. What do you think about NASCAR going to USA Network now because of NBC Sports Network being gone? What do you think about the future of NASCAR broadcasting after this news? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.